As festival director, I'm particularly pleased to be able to introduce Tom Mayhew, who will share stories about his life, growing up working class, and his time on benefits. Fresh from his recent hit BBC Radio 4 show, Tom will preview new material, but also revisit elements of his hit Edinburgh Fringe show, I, Tom Mayhew, which transferred to a sellout show at the Soho Theatre in London. There might even be time for a little question and answer session at the end. But without further ado, please welcome Tom Mayhew to our festival.
Hello, welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. If you heard other people say yeah, then unmute your microphone and we can all join in. I can hear you laughing and I can feel less like I'm having a mental breakdown in my parents' dining room. That would be lovely. So yeah, if you unmute yourself, I can hear you laugh. You can heckle. You can go, what's wrong with your face? And I'll go, up, mate. It'll be hilarious. So thank you so much for coming. Who here, by the way, is from Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you to the one person from Northern Ireland.
Me. No way.
There must be more people. I think the Northern Irish people are being quiet, which is the opposite of the stereotype, but fair enough. Good on you guys. So hello, my name's Tom. I never used to like having my school photo taken because my parents would always buy photos of other children. My Aunt Mary still thinks I'm black. So. But yeah, the majority of my Radio 4 show, as was described in the introduction, was about the time when I was on benefits. I was on benefits for a long time. Basically, I left school in 2010, which was just after my first recession. Currently, I'm on a hat trick, so looking forward to doing that by the time I hit 30. And yeah, so I found myself signing on for quite a long time because it was at a time in the world where there were not many jobs going about. It was really hard for young people to find work. There were more places closing and there were vacancies popping up. It was kind of like 2010 was basically like an Edinburgh preview for 2021 in many ways, I think. So yeah, it was hard for me to find a job. Like it was, I don't know if anyone else was looking for work back then, but it was the kind of thing where someone would post, oh, I need a cleaner to do 3 hours a week. And then within 6 hours on Facebook, they'd have 15 people saying they want to do it. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. That I went to I went to like 3 interviews, right? I went to an interview at Boots, at Tesco and Asda. And all of them, they were like, oh, so why are you passionate about working in retail? And I don't know what you're supposed to do there, because like if you are properly passionate about working in retail and you work there, like I worked at Sainsbury's, right, and the manager gets really angry if you spunk on all the bread. I'm like, sorry, mate, I'm just really passionate about it. It just really gets me going a bit, you know. Nothing turns me on in a 2-for-1 discount, fucking hell. But yeah, I was unemployed for a long time, right? So eventually, and I think actually I'll say, I think unemployment is a very sort of working class thing, right? Because middle class people, they never describe themselves as unemployed. They say, I'm in between jobs. And I'm like, mate, you wouldn't say that about anything else. You wouldn't go, I'm in between girlfriends. No, you're single, get over it. So yeah, I was unemployed for a while. So I had to go to this place called the Job Centre Plus. Now, I don't really know what the plus stands for. Presumably judgment and sadness. I don't know if anyone out there has signed on. If you have, you know it's not a very fun experience. Basically, I signed on and you have this person who's like your personal advisor and it's their job to be the one-to-one helper to help you find work. But it wasn't very good advice because the first job I was told to apply for was to be a makeup assistant at Boots. Because that's who women want doing makeup, right? They want someone who looks like Mark Zuckerberg if Facebook had failed. Even worse, I was really spotty and shy as an 18-year-old, so I wouldn't be able to look at these girls in the face. So I'd just be having to do their makeup with my eyes closed like that. Anyway, if anyone wants to volunteer, it'd be a great comedy sketch. We can do it maybe next week. But yeah, and also like it wasn't very personal signing on, because my advisor, right, I've been going there 6 months, seeing her every single Monday for 6 months, and she still didn't know my name, which is not very personal, is it really, if we can be honest? Like my name's Tom Mayhew. Occasionally people misread it as Tom Mayhew. So I've been going there 6 months, and I sat down. She looked at me, looked at my form, and went, Matthew? 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 And I was like, mate, it doesn't matter how much louder you say it, it's still not my name. Like, I remembered her name. Her name was Carol. I remembered it because that's what a human being should do. And I don't want to shit on like all job centre advisors, right? Because there's lots of people at the job centre who do a really good job and do try their best, and they try and help you find work. But there's also a lot of Carols. And Carol, she's a woman. I once went to sign on, and she had a mug, and on the mug it said, "Work to live, live to shop." Which, when you're serving people who A, don't have work, and B, they can't afford to shop, like, you're kind of taking the piss, mate. Let's be honest. It's a bit like if you turn up to the doctor and he had a T-shirt which said, "Don't worry, I'm fine." But yeah, I grew up sort of very working class. We didn't really have much, we didn't have nice clothes, expensive holidays, self-esteem. And all through my life, people have said things like, "Tom, you should really be more confident, mate. You should be more confident. You should really be more confident." And you'd think that would have fixed it. Like, I was coming home from a gig a couple of years ago, and a guy stopped me and was like, "Mate, you need to be more confident, because I'm not a mugger, but if I was, you'd be an easy target." Don't know if anyone watching has been a victim of a hypothetical mugging before. When they don't steal your possessions, just like all your self-esteem that day. Though I'd be a really shit muggy, right? Because when someone says, "Give us all your money," they're usually expecting more than £2.50. I've got this image of someone sort of taking me to an ATM and being like, "Right, mate, I'm going to leave you with £0. And it's really nice of him to clear my overdraft. But there's this mad thing, right? I think often when you talk about poverty or talk about not having much money or talk about struggling, people just love to not believe you. They love to just believe it's not true. Like, I did my Radio 4 series, which was called Tom Mayhew's Benefit Scum, which I mainly called it that because it was hilarious hearing the Radio 4 posh people struggle to say, benefit scum. It was hilarious. They were like so uncomfortable. Fucking amazing. And like, it's really interesting, right? Because like, there's one example where a guy came to see me to the show in London, and he left the show and he said, "Oh, why does he sit there always complaining? Why doesn't he go out and get a job?" And I was like, "Mate, you just saw me do my job. Like, I don't know what else I could do, as if I'm going to be performing at a theatre in London and not getting paid. I'm not a fucking idiot, mate." And there was also a thing, right, because I did my show on Radio 4 and it was released for like the Radio 4 Comedy of the Week podcast, and someone left a review of it there, and in the review they said, "Oh, it's just some guy who's pretended to sign on during a pandemic." And I was like, yeah, because I'd get so much fucking kudos from that, wouldn't I, mate? Walking down the streets, people going, "Are you on benefits? Let me shake your hand, mate." Make a statue of the benefit man. Show him all the respect. What a cool thing to be. Seen Tom Mayhew, he's on benefits. Yeah, I know, isn't he a fucking legend? Like, why would I pretend? And also, like, you don't have to be too aware of the world to notice that maybe the arts industry was fucking shot in the balls last year. Like, fucking hell. As if, like, yeah, I used to be a full-time comedian and I'm not doing gigs, I'm just pretending. It's just the right laugh for me to not have any income. I'm finding it a right fucking laugh. Loving my life. But yeah, they always have that, because you have it with homeless people. I think everyone's had this when you walk past a homeless person and someone says something like, "Oh, they're not really homeless. They're just pretending to be homeless." And in my head, I'm always like, "Mate, like, he's got about 2 teeth." Like, if he's pretending, that is fucking method acting right there. Get that bloke an Oscar straight away. Do you know what I'm saying? And this weird idea of people sort of go like, oh, because people who are homeless, all they get more than I do, or they earn more than me. I'm like, well, quit your job then. You're the fucking idiot if that's the case. How are you judging them? Like, if you genuinely think they earn more from you from being homeless, then you should do it. We should all be homeless. Let's all do it next week. See how well we do. Report back. Thank you, one person. A weird perk of doing a gig in my parents' house instead of Northern Ireland. I was really looking forward to coming to Northern Ireland, so I'm really sorry that I'm not there. But apparently they didn't want me to come there. But then again, maybe Northern Irish people don't want English people there anymore, which should be fair enough because our government is scum. But like one perk of me doing a gig at home, right, is I've got like a nice cup of tea that was made by my mum, and she also bought me these 2 biscuits, right? And like one of them is Tesco Crunchy Caramel, and the other one is Tesco Caramel Crunch Bar.
That's amazing.
So I was trying to work out what the difference is. I have no idea. One of them says it's fully coated in milk chocolate, and the other one says it's covered in milk chocolate. So I don't know the difference. I can only presume Mum gave it to me as a very clever pastiche of the lack of difference between Labour and the Tory party. Fucking lovely to have some real opposition, isn't it, guys? Like real opposition who always agrees with the government. Fucking amazing. I know. Sorry, he doesn't always agree. Sometimes he abstains. What a legend. I really remember when I helped Gareth Gates win Pop Idol by not voting for him. Did a great job. Don't worry, guys. It can happen to any one of us. Fucking niche Gareth Gates jokes. Is this what you came for? It better be.
Yeah.
When Gareth Gates was...
What was that, mate?
What age would you be, Tom, when Gareth Gates was in it? You were 5 years old, weren't you?
Fuck off, mate. Really lucky that I know you, Leslie. Otherwise, I'll get you kicked out of the gig straight away. Because, like, I mean, yeah, I don't really like how we treat homeless people, because people always say things like, don't give them money, they'll just spend it on drugs. And what they mean by that is, oh, you know, I think a homeless person should go out, they should get a job, they should work their way up, they should get their own house, and then they can buy their own drugs. It's never people saying homeless people shouldn't have drugs. It's them going, I have to work hard for my drugs. Why don't these homeless people do the same, you know? But yeah, it's kind of a strange time at the moment politically, because like, I don't know how everyone's feeling about it, but I mean, I'm in a constant state of anxiety. It's fucking great. Because like, I mean, it's really weird how much things have changed over the past year. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm fucking bored out of my eyes of it. But like, you know, I can remember when I worked at the Sainsbury's, right? And one of my ex-teachers came in, he was called Mr. Gray. And I said, oh, it's you, it's Mr. Gray. You used to teach me business studies. To which he said, oh, did I? Oh, well, I didn't do a good job then because you've ended up here. And I was like, mate, you've insulted both of us with that sentence. So like, I was a shit teacher and look what's gone wrong. But that all changed in the past year, right? Because apparently last year Sainsbury's workers went from being that marginalised, looks down upon people of the community to then being essential workers.
Yeah.
It's essential to everyday life that you work at Sainsbury's, because we all found out about the thousands of people who died because they didn't have enough nectar points. Tragic, really tragic. Tommy, mate, who's in charge of the room, it says Joan Mullen has entered the waiting room. Do we have to admit that person? Just be talking to the tech person. I don't know whether we have to do anything there. You can do that. Just so I don't know why it's on my screen. It's very confusing. But yeah, I'm trying to write new sort of material at the moment because I come from like very sort of like working class background, and I don't like it when people sort of slag off things. I really get pissed off with people being very sort of smug in the media. Hi, yes, Tom, I'll admit them, thanks. No worries, just doing my job. That's right. Sometimes I let people into my shows. What a hero. I know, guys. As soon as Joan's in, we have to do the crunchy caramel bar bit again, because that was gold. Absolute gold.
Definitely.
Oh, God.
But I'm going to have to literally buy myself some of these for when I don't know whether this will be part of my set when I'm doing live gigs again, but who fucking knows?
No, you should. It should.
It should. Are you serious?
Yeah, great.
Great. I'm going to go from, oh yeah, Tom Mayhew, that critically acclaimed comedian for Radio 4 show, to, oh yeah, the biscuit guy. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I don't like people being smug because, like, I don't know, you see it a lot in comedy when it's the comedians are like, oh, people like something like Mrs. Brown's Boys, but I think it's shit. And I'm like, yeah, but that's always the case with everything. Like, I don't think it's great, intelligent, meaningful comedy, but it doesn't have to be. Like, it's kind of a gateway comedy into different comedy. That's how I kind of see it, because we all need that. Because if I wanted to just show my nephew a comedy, he's about 8, and I'm not going to show him Stuart Lee, because he'll just be like, why is this old man so angry? And I can't judge Mrs. Brown's Boys for not being like really deep and meaningful when I'm still a big fan of the Chuckle Brothers. Like, 2 fans of the Chuckle Brothers there. One of you sounds a lot like the ghost of Barry, which is a bit terrifying.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm trying to, like, I don't know, I think because a lot of people don't really realise in the media how much of it is sort of shaped around like middle class people nowadays. Like, even game show is about, 30 years ago, Bullseye, you'd go on, you'd win a washing machine, and people would be like, that's amazing, I've got a washing machine, I can not have dirty clothes now. That's kind of what it was. Whereas now, I was watching an episode of Tipping Point, right, and this guy, he won like 10 grand, and they asked him, oh, so what do you want to spend the £10,000 on? And he immediately went, oh, I think I might get a new watch.
Oh.
You can watch me slap you in the face, mate, you belly. Like, luckily he didn't win. I was so happy. I don't know if you've ever watched Tipping Point, and when they don't win, you've gone yay in your house. So happy, because like I really hate that. And whether, like, someone pointed this yesterday, oh, what are you going to spend the 12 grand on? Oh, I'm going to go traveling. No, piss off, mate, you don't need the money. I want someone who needs the money for either food or their house. They should be people who are given the money, because otherwise you're just going like, oh, this person who's, oh god, also, Antiques Roadshow. I've watched too much of that and I fucking hate it when they go like, basically I was looking around my attic and there's a fossilized piece of shit. What do you think it's worth? And the antique expert goes, oh yes, this is the 1990 crunchy caramel bar. Yes, this is worth at least £2,000. And they go, oh, that's nice. But where's your excitement? Like, you're like, I'll be doing a cartwheel, mate. I'll be loving life. But they're just like, oh, okay. Oh. I might still eat it, to be honest, because I can afford to still eat it. I mean, yes, it's worth £2 grand, but I mean, let's not forget this is twin bars of biscuit topped with caramel covered in milk chocolate. So far superior to the bar that's just fully coated in milk chocolate. Anyone who's late in, I'm just comparing the crunchy caramel Tesco bar with the Tesco crunchy caramel. One's caramel crunch, right, and one's crunchy caramel. Suddenly I have gone Stuart Lee now, I feel, which is not what you were here for, but it's fine. It's fine.
It is fine.
There we go. That's the reassurance I need. One person going, it's fine, Tom.
Brilliant, Tom. Fantastic. Great.
Honestly, I mean, you're saying that as a compliment, but it's genuinely making me feel like, what's the point in writing actual comedy anymore when I can just hold up chocolate bars and people were like, yeah. I mean, that's why Paddy McGuinness is so successful. That's all you've got to do. Chocolate bars, have you noticed? Similar but different. Standing ovation, O2 Arena. Sounds
Great ad-lib.
I'm loving Leslie's director's commentary at the moment.
Well, it is, Tom. You're doing so well.
There we go. To all the haters out there. But yeah, man, I think it's really weird when you talk about being political, because sometimes people say things like, Tom, like you're a political comedian, and I'm like, I just talk about my life and how it's unfair that there's injustice. Does that make me political? Apparently it does. But then like the shape of what is political has always changed, because when you think things like apparently not wanting black people to die, that's political now. Apparently for the past year, like literally people started going, Black Lives Matter, that's a political movement. It was like, all that movement is saying is black people shouldn't be killed for no reason. And people are like, oh, a bit political, mate. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? Like, how is what? But that's the thing, and that's always been the case though, because in the 80s saying, oh, I think it's okay for people to be gay, that was political. In the 60s saying, I think black people shouldn't be slaves, that was political. And it's mad like how much is political from just me going, why don't we just not be cunts? And people are like, oh, a bit left wing, a bit political. I'm like, no, just don't be a twat. Not fucking hard, man. Like genuinely earlier this year when like UNICEF were feeding starving children, and Jacob Rees-Mogg comes out and goes, I think UNICEF should be ashamed for getting involved in this political matter. As if there's going to be like a UNICEF worker going to church next Sunday and just sort of talking to the priest and being like, I feel so much shame. I feel so... can't believe what I've done, Lord. Please forgive me. I've really sinned, and I need you to forgive me. Please. I'm well enough. I need you to. It's okay, my child. It's okay, my child. What have you done? And I will forgive you. I've fed starving children. Yes, you should be ashamed. Actually, yeah. Even as Lord, I'm saying I'd rather you were gay than feed starving children. Oh man, but yeah, there is like a Q&A element of this. If you want to ask questions, there's a chat screen and you can literally ask me anything. It can be about the ingredients of chocolate bars. If you a tour of my house, whatever you fancy, I'm perfectly happy to do that. But yeah, so I will sort of, I've got my little list of things I want to talk about because I want to do some new stuff, which I have done. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, it sounded like someone having sex, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
At first, I thought they just kept agreeing with what I was saying. Like, I've had some heckles in my time, but that is... Like, was it this that turned you on? Was it the chocolate bar comparison, or it's stopped now? So I've done my job. That is my job, to stop people having sex. I try my best. Just go around with a cape and go, "You stop that," and they go, "Oh, and they stop." It's amazing. But yeah, it's kind of a weird time to be political as a. I'm going to call myself a young person, even though I'm 29, so technically I'm almost dead. That was a joke about age. I hope it didn't offend people. But, you know, it does feel like I'm almost not young, because I don't know if 30 is still young. I don't think it is. I think it's not. But I still count myself as a young person. And it's weird to be like political as a young person when we kind of don't really have any politicians we like now. They're all sort of dickheads. Do you know what I mean? It felt like when I was a Chelsea fan, I still am a Chelsea fan, but it felt like when I was a Chelsea fan 10 years ago, and to support Chelsea, I'd have to be cheering on John Terry and Ashley Cole, which I didn't want to do. So it was like, oh, we've got a question. Given the recent appointment of Tory Tim Davie, given the recent appointment of Tory Tim Davie to the BBC, did you have any pressure not to be so political in your BBC Radio 4 series? By the way, it was fantastic. Oh, thank you, David. I mean, it's still on BBC Sounds. You can listen to it, and it's far more structured than this. There's less chocolate bars, but there's probably more jokes. So depends which you prefer, really. Did I have any? No, I didn't. I don't think I had much pressure to be political, to be honest. I think because like, I think if we got another series, I would have probably a bit more pressure to be less political, because I think there'll be new guidelines that are brought in. But luckily, it got commissioned just before Darth Vader took over. What's that? Oh, it's my second series going in the bin. Oh well. But yeah, there wasn't too much pressure for this series. So I think we were very lucky. We sort of just snuck in before I would be like, I'm sure if I did the same show next year, I'm sure I'd be like a Daily Mail front page, let's be honest, but there we go. But yeah, it's kind of like really weird when people are like, oh, I'm sick of people in the arts and comedians being predominantly left wing. And I'm like, well, maybe your right wing government should support the fucking arts, mate. That's an idea. like why would a comedian ever go like, oh, I really like the government because they took all my work away for a year. They're doing a great job. Like, you're not going to. Why would you ever be on their side when they've completely fucked you over? It makes no sense whatsoever. But yes, and it's weird now because at the moment we've kind of got that. You know, I know it's very different in Northern Ireland, but I think people from all over the world are watching now, so it should be all right. But in the UK, well, in England, I should say, we have basically Boris Johnson, who's like an authoritarian right-wing maniac who, I don't know how he can control a country when he can't even control his penis. People are like, he's actually really intelligent. I'm like, no, he doesn't know how to use a condom. He's not fucking intelligent. And then we got like Starmer, who is, I mean, he's basically like, that's what I wanted in politics. I wanted Tony Blair without the charisma. And people, you know, people do make the argument. They go, oh, like, you know, any Labour Party would be better than the Tory Party. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't still mean they'd be good. Doesn't mean we should still be happy with it. We should still accept it because, like, they would be better. But then, like, you know, if we had new Labour instead of the Tory Party, they'd be like, we've done much better than the Tories. We've only killed 80,000 people through austerity. And it's like, yeah, it's better, mate, but can we not kill any people through austerity? Is that a radical idea? Apparently it is, according to the Daily Mail, but there we go. Any more questions? I like the interactive element. You can just say a question if you want to say it, anyone. What I will say, actually, because I know Sue and Leslie, I know you both. And you've done like a shitload of campaigning for Extinction Rebellion. You're both in your 70s. You've both been arrested numerous times in your 70s because you're fucking legends and you're amazing. How scared?
Tom.
Sorry?
I'm 64.
I was trying to make you look more badass, but like, how do you guys feel about the new laws that mean you could be put in prison for 10 years for doing the same campaigning?
Well, we're going on the demonstration on April the 3rd in London against it.
Hey.
Are you going to beat up a police officer?
Oh.
Apparently that's what's happening at these. I mean, they say that, but it seems to be like a policeman's punches someone and someone goes, fuck off. And they go, oh, look, they're fighting the police. So I'm like, what do you want about, mate? Like,
Yeah.
Are you worried about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've seen the Mirror journalist who got beaten up. Mm-hmm. It's really horrible to watch. It really is scary.
Yeah. Mad that like last year there was that period during the Black Lives Matter thing, but there was lots of policemen being very awful in America, and we were like, it wouldn't happen here, and now it is happening here. What are your advice for people going on protest? If anyone is going on the protest, what would you say?
Go. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Be peaceful. We're totally non-violent. Absolutely, totally non-violent. That's what Extinction Rebellion is. I've never seen anybody from Extinction Rebellion be violent. Never.
Okay. I mean, they're violent to the economy. That's what Tories are annoyed at. You're being very violent to my wages. You've been very violent. My train was 5 minutes late. That is an act of violence. But are you guys like, I don't know, will you be more nervous than usual? I presume you will be.
No, I don't think so. No, I think
if you believe in what you're doing, then you're not going to be intimidated by thugs, whether they wear a police uniform or not.
Oh, that's a good quote, isn't it? There we go. If you don't follow Sue Hampton and Leslie Tate on Twitter, they're like proper like badass activists. Like, they're really cool. David's asked, "Where are my Union Jack? Where are my Union?" Say it right. Where's my Union Jag flag? I mean, the whole fucking Union Jack thing, right? Firstly, I mean, if you cared about the UK, maybe you wouldn't push through Brexit because that's going to tear the UK apart. But good job, guys. Not anyone who voted Brexit. I don't have any issue if you voted Brexit. That's perfectly fine. But you know, in terms of the overlords who pushed it through, people like Cummins and people like Johnson, they're the people who pushed it through, and now they're going, we have to care about the union. It's like, no, mate. If the union breaks up, it's because you pushed that through. So go fuck yourself. But where am I union? I mean, the whole Union Jack thing is actually, because you know what, everyone's going on about how it's the Tory party being mental and being like over the top in their patriotic thing. But I honestly feel like, because it was started by Starmer, like I think Starmer did it first. He had a Union Jack behind him to go, I'm more patriotic. I'm not like Corbyn. I care about our country and all that bullshit, right? And then I think all the Tories are doing, they're basically trolling Starmer, which actually, I think in a way is genius of them, to be honest. Like, I think if you look at it like from the outside in, you think, what the fuck are they doing? But if you realise that what they're doing is they're just taking the piss, like, oh, it makes sense now. Okay. Basically, Starmer went like, oh, here's my Union Jack. It shows I like Britain. And then the Tories are going to come out and go like, look, I've got a Union Jack on my face, mate. They're going to like, they're like, you can't out-patriot us. Like, oh, I sing God Save the Queen when I have sex. Like, you know, it's mad. Like how are you going to be like more patriotic than Boris Johnson, a man who just like that picture of him when he went down that zip wire and he had the two Union Jack flags.
Yeah.
Like why would you go into battle with him over that? He's gonna fucking murder you. Let's be honest. Like, honestly, it's fucking hell. It'd be like me going up to Mike Tyson and being like, "Oh, I can outpunch you." It's like, going to knock me the fuck out. Like, it's almost like the opposition should actually be different to the government. What a radical idea. But yeah, I feel like the Union Jack thing, and it will be made into a culture war where people will go, "Oh, people without a Union Jack hate Britain," when it's like the poppy. Because like when I was growing up in the 90s, right, the poppy. It was like, it's a choice. You can do what you want. You can do whatever you like. That's fine. Whereas then it got changed into, if you don't wear a poppy, then you're basically an Iraqi who shot a soldier in the face. And it's like, what are you on about? Like, that's not, you can not wear a poppy and still respect soldiers. It's because it's like a propaganda thing. But this is just me. I quite like chatting about politics. I don't do it enough with people. But yeah, sorry, I've not got a Union Jack flag. I mean, I might get one when they finally arrest Prince Andrew. No, you can't slag off the royal family. What, even the paedophile one? Okay, mate. Like, it's mad when people are like, you can't slag off the royal family, and I'm like, but one of them, like Henry VIII, just killed loads of his wives because they weren't giving him the right child. Like, I'm sorry, but why should we respect them and love those people when that's how they treated women in the past, or just generally people in the past? They're not good people. Oh god, the Daily Mail are going to watch this, aren't they? guys running this, can we only have this online for like a week? Because I'd quite like to work again. But just take a screenshot of this comedian with no Union Jacks in background. Unbelievable. Well, also, I think it would be quite offensive to do a gig that's supposed to be, you know, in Northern Ireland with a Union Jack flag. I think that would be kind of taking the piss out of any previous problems, shall we say. I don't know, maybe it would be, I don't know. But yes, any more questions apart from anyone else apart from David Palmer want to ask me anything? I'm enjoying this. It's good fun. No, okay. I'll do some more jokes for questions because why not? I quite like football, right? I like it because basically it meant growing up I could talk to people like my granddad, because I can't talk to him about much else because I don't like cars and I'm not a sexist. You know, he'd say things like, "Oh, Tom, what's your favourite car?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, Brum." Literally, I don't know anything about. It's so weird when you get like proper men who kind of say things like, well, not even proper men, but do you know what I mean? Those kind of ones who very sort of love cars. You know, people like fucking Jeremy Clarkson, he'd be like, "Oh, what's your favourite car?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, I want a red one. That'd be nice." I have no idea. Does it move? Does it work? Good, then it's fine. Why should it matter? Like, I don't really understand it. But yeah, I like football. I liked it growing up, but it's a weird thing because it's very tribal football. Like, you know, I went to see Middlesbrough with my grandpa once, and they sing a song that's like, "Oh, Borough, you're the best team I've ever seen." And I was like, but they're 15th in Division 2 at the time, so like they've won one trophy in 140 years. I weren't even the best team that day. They lost 3-0. So I'm trying to be like, but Grandpa, they can't be the best team, but they don't listen. And I feel like that kind of tribalness is similar to people with politics, people on both sides and both scenarios, like people from the left to the far left, to the centre, to the right, to the far right, to people who don't even know what they're talking about. I think there's lots of tribalisms where, like, you know, if your team say it, it's fine, but then if the other team say it, it's wrong, which makes no sense when ultimately, you know, they both taste the same, guys. This stream is sponsored by Tesco Crunchy Caramel and Tesco Caramel Crunch Bar. It's not. They fucking owe me money. What do you think about Piers Morgan walking off TV? I think he is a self-obsessed, selfish, nasty piece of work who only really cares about himself, and he's only walking off TV because he's a little baby who doesn't like being criticised, and he should grow up because he has the emotional maturity of about a 6-year-old, and beside that, he's just a bit of a cunt.
Right.
Not really a fan of Piers Morgan. Like, it's weird. We were supposed to go, oh, we like him now because he was challenging the government during the pandemic. And I was like, yeah, but you don't get to be a wanker for 20 years and suddenly be nice for 6 months and people would go, actually, he's all right. I'm like, no, mate, not having it. Not having it. Yeah, I think he was just doing it basically for his own attention. It's, you know, because there's no reason for him to do it. I think at that point, he already knew he was going to be sacked. And I know they said he resigned, but that's the way a football manager resigns when they lose 10 games in a row. And they go, if you resign, it will look better for you. That's all it is. Like, he knew he was going to be sacked and he wanted that big, I'm being silenced. I'm being cancel culture. They're cancelling me. It's like, no, you've been on ITV for 20 years, but you said something horrendous. That's not you being cancelled. That's someone going, don't be a wanker. That's like, oh, I don't like that man. Oh, how am I doing for time? Oh shit, I've only got like 5 more minutes. Okay, so you can ask any more questions you want in the chat, or I'll just try some other new bits till the end. But thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here, because I mean, you could have been watching a pointless celebrity. And today there were a variety of footballers on, and I'm sure it was riveting television. I like pointless, but pointless celebrities is like, oh, it's pointless, but for people who aren't as intelligent, which, like, not people who aren't intelligent, do you know what I mean? But I feel like they really patronise the celebrities on there by completely dumbing down the question, saying things like, how many months are there in December, or stuff like that. And it's like, just because they're celebrities, it doesn't mean they don't know shit. Like, some of them probably do. You should maybe, I don't know, just my thoughts. Knocked my laptop, made a noise. Do you think Tesco suppliers will be impacted by the how do you say that? Suez Suez incident.
Yeah.
Suez.
I think they will be impacted. I think they'll be even more impacted by people rushing out to buy Tesco's crunch. No. I think they probably will be a bit. I don't really understand it. Like, if someone just crashed a boat and it's fucked everyone over, is it just like a massive motorway pile-up that is like the worst pile-up in ever and they can't get past it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I will say is that incident has caused more trouble than Extinction Rebellion would have done over the past 5 years. So maybe that should be it. Maybe boats should be illegal. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of really weird times for, I think, the future of people from my generation and the generation before. And the generation after. It's very strange times to be alive at the moment. Like, what sums up the weird state of the world for people, like for me at the moment, is even though we're in this properly, rich country, is the fact that still sometimes there are people who, when they die, they have to crowdfund for a funeral.
Yeah.
So basically, I thought I'm going to start early. So I'm going to set up a Kickstarter, and for like 30 quid, you can have a cup of my ashes. 100 quid, you can have your name on the coffin. 200 quid, you get a selfie with a corpse. And I don't know. $1,000, you no, I shouldn't say that. I'll get me in trouble. $1,000, you get like you get to take out the corpse to Foot Park for a day. You just get photos on all the roller coasters of me just there going like that. That's my idea. Starting my crowdfunder for my funeral, because they're bloody expensive, and I want to get it paid off now. There we go. I think that's almost my time. I think I have to. I don't know what the rules are about my time, whether I can just chat forever, whether I have to end on the dot on 1:15. But this has been really lovely. Thank you.
Really happy.
Yeah, open the biscuits.
Are you going to? Oh my god, I'm getting heckled. Am I going to open the biscuits and tell?
Please do. At this point.
Okay, the first one is Tesco Caramel Crunch Bar, which
Are they both
I'm
Yeah,
very.
they
Are they in date? I mean, you'll find out tomorrow. If I tweet tomorrow, yes, they were. If they weren't, this was all a mistake. But yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I know this is kind of a political festival, but I think I've done enough stuff that is kind of political, but also I think it's good to keep this shit light. I try to keep it light as much as I can, because if you talk about all this stuff seriously, it's really fucking horrible. So I'm just gonna. Oh, no rush. Just let me know. Amazing. Well, I'm gonna eat the biscuits. Like, I mean, what the fuck am I doing? But You can really taste caramel crunch to this one. Yeah. You can really taste it's fully coated in milk chocolate, actually. On this one, see, this one's 1 bar, but this one's like 2 little bars, so I don't really know what the difference is. I presume there's a third one that's about that size. That's the Lib Dems. Who knows? Okay, so let's see the difference in this one. Completely the fucking same, mate. Look at it. It's the same on the inside. It's exactly the same. Completely the fucking same. Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer, exactly the same, man. But you can get 2 here in case you want a fucking coalition, because that works so well. How have they got away with that? Fucking hell, man. Right, well, this has been fun. I'll be honest, I didn't think this was going to go this way. You can blame my mum for this if you didn't like this bit. You know, but it's been lovely. It's been really nice to sort of do some old bits and some new bits and just have a chat. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for popping along and staying and tuning in, all that stuff. I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, or I'm just in my house eating biscuits. So yeah, I'm gonna. That's all right, Lauren. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, because it's I guess it's that weird thing where I never really know how many people will turn up to a live stream, because we've all got busy lives and we've all got a lot of shit going on. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, do follow me on those social medias. If you've not heard my Radio 4 series yet, please do listen, because I'd like to get it recommissioned, and I'm really proud of it, and it's really, really good, and I think it's very different to everything else out there. So I'd appreciate people listening. And yeah, if you could not share the re-upload of this video too far, just in case the Daily Mail find it. And maybe actually when we re-upload the video for YouTube, just cut out the flag bit and just like superimpose some there behind me. Just have like the UK flag there, and just have like Churchill there. Actually, no, superimpose the UK flag there and do CGI of a big statue of Churchill behind me, and I'll just be like, "Hey, it's my buddy Churchy. There we go. Hey, Church, remember when you won the war? That was good, wasn't it, Churchill? Shame you were a massive racist." But yeah, it's been lots of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys all very soon. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and yeah, take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Love you, Tom.